Hey, I'm Brian, and I'm going to take you through how you can make more of your home services company's efforts on Yelp and turn more of the leads you get from Yelp into book jobs, paying customers, and ultimately revenue. What we're going to focus on here is what I'll refer to as speed to lead. Most home service companies have a Yelp page, and in a lot of cases, you're advertising on Yelp. But you're not the only one doing it, so are a lot of other home service companies in your area. When you get a lead from Yelp, one of, if not the biggest cause as to whether or not you will win that lead or someone else in your market will, is how fast you respond to that lead. Lots of home services companies have a presence on Yelp, but don't respond fast enough. And when I say fast enough, I'm not talking about an hour or two. I'm talking about in seconds, not minutes. And if you don't respond fast enough, that competitor in your market probably will, either because they have a CSR on staff who can immediately message them, or here in 2026, they're likely using automation. So you, for your home service business, may be thinking, I'm getting Yelp leads, I'm getting requests to quotes, I may be spending some money on ads, but how do I respond faster than my competitors so that I can win those leads? Now, most business owners aren't always available to respond immediately. You personally might be doing the work, you're on the tools, you might be working, driving, sleeping with your family, and leads can come in at any time. And even a delay of 10 to 30 minutes can cause you to lose that lead. So how do we as home service business owners stay on top of these leads and really make sure we close them? This is where you can set up something called an autoresponder. And it's exactly what it sounds like. A new lead comes in and I automatically respond. I don't need to go get my phone. I don't need to have a CSR. Maybe I don't even have a CSR on staff. I don't need to have a human stay on top of that. I can use automation. So this will ensure that every lead gets responded to in seconds, not minutes or hours, and you never miss a lead due to slow response time. So it creates a better customer experience just by responding fast. You build a lot of trust. People are busy, homeowners that is, and they just want a solution. So how do we set up an autoresponder? Let's get into it. It was kind of hard to set up an autoresponder for Yelp until about 6 months ago, when Yelp themselves put out a integration through something called Zapier. If you're like, I'm not a tech person, I'm not very techy, you don't need to know how to code, you don't need to know how to do anything other than click a mouse and type. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to assume that you can do those two things. Zapier essentially is a tool that connects to many, many different things, but for the purposes of this video, just know that Yelp allows you to connect to Zapier, and you can build your very own autoresponder in Zapier. Let's get into how to do it. So Zapier.com, if you've never used it before, you can just go to Zapier.com. I'm already logged in, but you can create a free account. First thing you're going to do in Zapier is come over to this plus button here and click create. And then what we're going to be creating is called the Zap. This is kind of the meat and potatoes of Zapier. So we'll click Zaps here. And for the setup for Yelp, first step is we need to connect Yelp, our Yelp business account, to Zapier. So we're going to go to the step one here. Let me zoom in here, make it a little easier to see. And what we're going to do is click here on trigger, and we're going to type into the box. You can see here there's thousands and thousands of different apps. Zapier is super powerful if you want to set up all types of crazy automations, but we're just going to type in Yelp because that's what we're focusing on here, and click Yelp leads. All right. Now, this may look a little intimidating if you're not super techy, but I'm going to walk you through it. It's very simple. Apps, of course, we're connecting Yelp here. We'll come back to choose an event and talk about those in a minute, but first thing you want to do is select an account. So you can click select here, and I have a bunch of accounts connected for our customers, but you can click connect a new account, and this will open up Yelp. You want to make sure that if you're using Google Chrome or Safari, you're already logged into Yelp on that browser you're using. And the way you can do that is come up here to biz.yelp.com, and you'll be logged in to your business account. So I already have a bunch of accounts set up, so I'll just pick one here. This, of course, would be for your business. What we're going to start with is new lead. This is basically Yelp saying, hey, business, you have a new lead. And so we'll start with that one. And then we'll click continue. And you can skip past this, just hit continue. Now, what this is going to do is basically every time a new lead comes in from Yelp, tells Zapier, hey, you got a new lead. And this is all the information that's going to come with it. Again, I know this may look a little intimidating if you're not super technical or computer savvy, but just know that this is a packet of information Yelp is sending you about the lead that came in, and what we're looking at here is just an example of that. So in this case, we have a lead named Mary. She came through at February 16th, and here's the information about the project that she needs help with and her zip code, and then some other information down here. What's nice about these leads compared to, say, maybe a website form is you're actually going to have a good amount of information, right? The person's not just say, I need help. They're going to say, I need help with a front load dishwasher, and here's the issue. So now we'll continue with selected record. Now, this is where, you have some choices as to how you want to generate your return message to the Yelp lead. If you don't want to use any, external software, I run a company called LeadTruffle, and we have an autoresponder for Yelp that you can easily set up. Talk about that at the end of the video. If you don't want to work with a software company like that, you can actually just do this yourself. And probably the easiest way to do it is through AI by Zapier. Okay, so this is going to be on your premium Zapier account, which is $29 a month, and you can use that as an option. So we'll go there, and again, at the end, I'll talk about LeadTruffle and what we do. So let's use AI by Zapier to create our message back to this lead. If you've ever used ChatGPT before, very similar. Basically, what you're going to be telling telling the AI is, hey, I got this lead from Yelp. Let's write a message back to them. So I'm just going to type that out. Here is a new lead from Yelp. Write back a message to them saying, we understand their issue and that we can help. Now, that is a good start, but you need to give the AI the information about this specific lead, and this is where Zapier comes in. So what you're going to do is you can either hit this plus button up here, or you can hit the backslash, and now you want to start to pick some information from that previous step in the Zap to give the AI, so the message is not, you could just send back, hey, thanks for reaching out to Brian's Appliance Repair, how can I help you? But thanks to AI, you can make it a lot more personal. So one thing we're going to say here is lead username, and then we're going to pick the username from the previous step. We're then going to say, let's do project details. And then you can just come up to the search bar here and hit project summary. And now that's going to be information about what that person needs. And then let's see, is there any other good information here? I think there's a message maybe. No, let's do project. I think that might be all we need. We'll do postal code as well. So we're keeping it very simple here. Obviously, you can get very fancy and complex with your messaging, but I just want to start y'all off on a simple option here. And now let's generate a preview. So just to in plain English, what we're saying here is, hey, AI, I got this Yelp lead. Here's their information. Mary is her name. Here's the project summary. And here's the project postal code. And now we can see the AI said, hey, Mary, thanks for reaching out. We understand your concern. We can certainly assist. Can you please let us know your availability and dates for scheduling? The AI kind of put that in there, but you can tell the AI, once we confirm their issue, simply ask when they are looking for service. And that's the end of the message. And now we'll hit generate preview on that again. Cool. And then it says best regards, your company name. Let's say end the message with best Brian. So, just through a couple iterations here, we're kind of tailoring the prompt it's called to make it specific to our business. And make it what we want. So let's hit generate preview here. Cool. So now, just like that, we have an AI-generated message going back to Mary about her issue. And we'll leave it at that. Again, you can get a lot more complex with the messaging, but let's keep it simple. What we're going to want to also do is set an output here. So we're going to do add field, and we're going to call this field message. Okay, and then this is the message. Save. Generate preview. The reason we want to do that is so on the next step when we're sending back in the message, we know what to select. Okay, and now we'll hit finish. And now the final piece. Okay, so we got the lead from Yelp coming in. We're using AI to generate a message, and now we need to send the message back. So again, we're going to type in Yelp, and we're going to hit Yelp Leads, and now we're going to do create a message. All right, so this is us telling Yelp now, hey, I have this message, you need to send it back. And then we just need to do 2 field mappings here. We need to tell Yelp who are you sending this to, right? Because once you turn this on, this is going to be happening over and over again. You're getting a lot of leads. And so you can hit the plus button here, or I like to just hit the backslash and then type in ID. And now we're going to say, hey, this message is meant for this Yelp lead, and the ID is the way to identify Mary. So this is a unique identifier for Mary. And then in response content, in the previous step, what did we just do? We created an output called message. So I'm going to type in message, and here is the message. Okay. So what we've just done in what was that 2 to 5 minutes here, we got a new lead coming in from Yelp. We're using AI to generate a return message, and now third step, send it back into Yelp. So just by doing that, you are going to stand out dramatically amongst your market. For every 10 businesses in your market, from what we've seen, 2 to 3 are probably using automation. Another 4 to 5 are probably have a human staying on top of this stuff, and then another couple are not going to be on top of it, and they're going to be too slow to respond. So just by doing this, you're really just going to stand out in the top 10 to 20% of your market, and we can hit continue. We can skip the test, and then the last step is you publish this here, okay? And once you publish this, it's going to turn it on so that anytime a new lead comes in, you're going to be sending that initial reply. And then let's name this Yelp new lead send message, okay? Now you may be thinking, okay, Brian, well, that's great, but once Mary responds, what happens? So if you just turn this one on, what's going to happen is that initial message will go back to her, and then once she responds, nothing's going to happen, which is fine. You may just want the AI to do that initial messaging, and then from there you can take it over. If you want to turn on more of an ongoing message, I'll show you how to set that up. So what we'll do here is hit duplicate, and this is going to now create a similar Zap, but this one we'll call Yelp, and we'll do ongoing messaging. Now this one's a little trickier because the setup's easy. I'll go through it, but there's a reason that it's not going to be as personalized, and I'll show you why. So we'll trigger event instead of new lead. We're going to do new consumer message. So this is basically Yelp telling us, hey, you got a new message from a lead. So this could be a new lead, or it could be, in this case, someone continuing to reply. So we can do new consumer message, and then we'll go continue. We'll test trigger, and this is going to pull in a sample record. We'll hit continue with selected record. And now this is where we're going to want to use the AI again, but in this case, we're going to want to change the prompt a little bit. So what we're going to want to say here is, here's a new lead from Yelp, and we're going to say, a Yelp lead just sent me a message, write a response that acknowledges their issue, and now we're going to want to change the inputs here. So in this case, when we pull in this information from the previous step, what we're actually just going to want is the message text and the name of the lead. So we'll do lead name, and then we'll do lead message. To confirm the issue, reply to their message on behalf of my business. And now let's generate a preview. So, okay, now that this message is generated, we now have the output that we can put into the final step. And so we'll hit finish. Same thing, create message, and then Yelp lead ID and the message are all going to be coming across again, just like that. And then we can publish that step. Now, one of the challenges with doing this through Zapier is that the AI here is not going to have the full history of the conversation. And so the AI is not going to know all of the 5 previous messages that were sent. That's where, using something like LeadTruffle, my software company, we're going to have a whole history of the message. And so each a message going as the messages go on, each message is going to know what was said before. With this, it's going to be a little more boilerplate, but it will still achieve the purposes of sending back a message. The other thing that is nice about the AI step here that you can do is you can add a knowledge source. So this way you can create something like a Google Doc where you put a bunch of information about your business in terms of your services, your service area, your pricing. And this way the AI is kind of smart as to who you are and what your business does. Again, you're still going to have that issue. You can get kind of creative and log the history of the message through more complicated steps. But this is a place where you may want to use something like LeadTruffle for a kind of smarter auto response. Now, I want to talk about a few other pieces here with the Yelp automation that you can do. Through Yelp, you're often going to be getting emails on the leads. So if I pop back here and open a new lead step, you can see that we get a temporary email. So this is gold, right? This email, it's masked, meaning it's not the lead's actual email. But if you email leads API plus a long string of numbers, that will go to the lead. And then you can also actually get phone numbers from your Yelp leads. If you go into the messaging here, you can see that you actually can get phone numbers as well. And this is an example of what the messages look like when you use LeadTruffle, but it's the same thing for Zapier as well. You're going to have all the messages there in the app. But again, you can get phone numbers. There's a bit of a process where you actually fill out an application for Yelp, and they will give you access to those phone numbers, and then you could actually call the lead as well. So in summary, if you want to set out a very simple Yelp autoresponder, first step would be the new lead here, and then you want to do the ongoing messaging here. If you're looking to do something more than that, you can work with us at LeadTruffle, where we're going to do, initial message, ongoing message with the full history of the thread. All of your information is going to be in our AI, so it's trained on your business. And then we're also going to help you with things like email and SMS follow-ups. We're purpose-built LeadTruffle for home services, so we have tons of businesses who use our Yelp integration to really stand out amongst the market. But again, you can do this with just Zapier. If this is something that is helpful, leave a comment below. If you want to work with us, you can head to leadtruffle.com, reach out there, or shoot me a note, brian@leadtruffle.com, and I'll also link to more information on how our Yelp Autoresponder works as an additional resource. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps you with speed to lead on Yelp, and hope you have a great rest of your day.